Sounds good. So welcome back. So we've been talking about how all this old tech could actually help us out if the world went haywire.
Yeah, it's been pretty eye-opening.
But supervivencia.txt isn't just about practical stuff.
Right.
It also talks about how all this could change how people interact and how communities would work.
That's what I find so interesting. Like, we've talked about the tools, but what about the people?
Yeah.
How would we actually connect with each other and work together if all the stuff we rely on was gone?
Yeah, it's a good question. Imagine a world with no social media,
Wow.
no texting, no way to call someone far away.
It'd be like going back in time.
Yeah, suddenly talking face to face would be the only way to communicate.
No more hiding behind a screen.
Right. It would be like real, raw human connection.
Yeah.
It would be intense, but I think it would also make us be more honest with each other.
More genuine.
Yeah, and supervivencia.txt says it could make local communities a lot stronger.
How so?
Think about it. Without all the big systems and organizations, your neighbors would be your lifeline. You'd need each other for help, for sharing things, for safety.
Okay, that makes sense. But wouldn't there also be a lot of conflict?
Oh, absolutely.
People fighting over things?
Yeah, the book talks about that too.
It does.
It says there'd be a lot of both cooperation and conflict.
So it's like a double-edged sword?
Exactly, the same instincts that could bring people together could also tear them apart.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It would all depend on the choices we make.
Like, would we freak out and hoard stuff?
Right. Or would we be kind and share?
It's crazy to think about how the world we live in now kind of protects us from having to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, for sure. But even with the best intentions, it would still be really hard to get around in this new world.
Yeah. I mean, no Google Maps, no GPS.
Right.
We'd be totally lost.
And that's where something like a physical map would be so important.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like an actual paper map.
Exactly. Supervivencia.txt says that knowing how to read a map and use landmarks would be a lifesaver.
You know, I actually have this old map of my city hanging on my wall. It's more like decoration, but in this scenario, it would be like gold.
Yeah, totally. And think about all the skills you need to read a map.
Yeah, like what?
Observation, knowing directions, understanding the land.
Yeah.
We've kind of forgotten how to do all that because of technology.
It's like we're so used to our phones telling us where to go that we've lost our natural instincts.
Exactly. But let's say you're using your map, you're figuring things out, and then someone gets hurt.
Uh-oh.
No 9/11, no hospitals.
What do we do?
Well, supervivencia.txt says we'd need to be ready to handle medical emergencies ourselves.
Okay.
So you'd need a good first aid kit, you'd need to know basic first aid, and maybe even some stuff about medicinal plants.
Wow, so it's like going back to the old ways of healing.
Yeah, it's amazing how much knowledge we've lost.
So we're not just talking about surviving physically.
Right.
We're talking about surviving mentally and emotionally, too.
Exactly. Supervivencia.txt says that this kind of situation would test us in every way.
That makes sense. We'd be dealing with so much uncertainty and danger and the sadness of losing the world we knew.
It would be tough, but the book says that learning to deal with stress and anxiety would be just as important as having supplies.
It's like mental toughness training.
Yeah, you'd need to find ways to stay calm and focused.
To find that inner strength to keep going even when things are really bad.
Exactly. And that's where community becomes even more important.
Oh, yeah.
Supervivencia.txt says that in a world like this, our connections to each other would be more important than ever.
We need each other for support.
Exactly, to help us get through the tough times.
It's like we'd rediscover what community really means.
Yeah, not just as like a word, but as something that keeps us going.
This is heavy stuff.
It is.
We've gone from talking about old technology to like the deepest parts of what it means to be human.
It's a pretty amazing book.
Yeah, it is. But we're not done yet.
Nope.
In part 3, we're going to go even deeper into supervivencia.txt.
We'll talk about the big questions this scenario raises.
About progress and technology and what it means to be alive in a world that's completely different from the one we know.
Hey, Karen.
Well, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into supervivencia.txt. And man, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it has. We've talked about surviving without all the tech we're used to and how it could change our communities and even how we think about being human.
Like, this book is making us question everything.
Yeah, supervivencia.txt really makes you think about what progress actually means and what's really important in life.
It's funny, we always think progress is about having the latest gadgets.
Right, like faster phones, better AI, more robots doing everything for us.
But what if all that stuff is actually making us miss out on something bigger?
That's exactly what the book is getting at.
Bro.
It asks, like, what if we're so busy chasing new technology that we're forgetting about things like real human connection and our relationship with nature?
So you're saying that technology isn't bad, it's just that we might be too focused on it.
Exactly. Maybe we've lost sight of other ways to make life better.
Okay, I can see that. Imagine a world where it doesn't matter how many followers you have online.
Right.
What matters is how you help your community and how good you are at taking care of yourself and the people around you.
Like knowing how to grow your own food or build things with your hands.
That's a totally different way of looking at things. And while a simpler life sounds kind of nice,
Yeah.
I do wonder if we'd be giving up some good things too.
Like what?
Well, technology has connected us in ways we never could before, right?
True.
And it's given us access to so much information, and it's helped us make amazing advances in medicine and science.
You're right. The book doesn't say we should just get rid of all technology. It's
Okay.
more about being more thoughtful about how we use it.
Like not letting it control our lives.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance.
So it's not about throwing away our smartphones.
Right.
It's about asking ourselves, are we in charge of technology or is it in charge of us?
That's a good way to put it. And this whole scenario, even though it's extreme,
Yeah.
it makes us think about what kind of future we want.
All right. Do we just want more and more gadgets?
Or do we want a future where technology helps us but doesn't take over?
A future where we're happy and healthy and taking care of our planet?
Exactly. It's about making choices that are good for everyone.
You know what else really struck me about supervivencia.txt?
What's that?
The ethical questions it brings up.
Yeah, like how do we make decisions when there's not enough of something to go around?
Right. And how do we make sure things are fair when the whole world has changed?
Those are tough questions, and the book doesn't pretend to have all the answers.
Hmm.
It basically says that in a situation like this, we'd have to figure those things out as we go.
So it's not like this perfect utopia where everyone gets along.
No way, it's more realistic than that.
It acknowledges that people can be both good and bad,
Exactly.
and that this new world wouldn't change that.
It might even make those things more intense.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. It makes you realize that technology can't fix everything.
We still have our basic human nature to deal with.
And that means we have the potential for both amazing things and terrible things.
But it also means that we have the power to choose.
Exactly. Even if the world changes completely.
We still get to decide what kind of society we want to build.
And what values are most important to us.
That's actually pretty empowering.
It is. It means that even in a really tough situation, we can still make a difference.
Wow. Supervivencia.txt has really made me think.
Me too.
I started out feeling kind of scared,
Yeah, I get that.
but now I'm feeling a little bit hopeful too.
Hopeful.
Yeah, like even if everything changes, we can still find a way to make things good.
I like that it reminds us that the human spirit is strong.
We can be creative, we can be compassionate, we can connect with each other.
And those are the things that will really matter in the end.
So listener, we've come to the end of our deep dive into supervivencia.txt.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been a little unsettling,
For sure.
but also really thought-provoking.
Definitely.
And I hope it's given you some things to think about too.
Maybe it's made you want to be more present in your life.
More aware of how you use technology.
And more grateful for the simple things that make you happy.
Because in the end, those are the things that really matter.
Well said.
Supervivencia.txt is more than just a survival guide. It's like a mirror reflecting back at us.
Making us see ourselves and our world in a new way.
It's a wake-up call to take control of our lives.
To choose connection over consumption.
And to build a future where everyone can thrive.
That's a great way to sum it up.
So until next time, stay curious, stay engaged.
And keep asking questions.